Where are you tuning in from? I'm here in Southern California. I went on my walk this morning and it was absolutely gorgeous. I got up before the sun did this morning, as I do often on days like this when I have a lot on my mind. And it was absolutely beautiful. And now all of a sudden, it's like the Santa Anas have just thrown up everything. Donna's is just around the corner from me, right? And it's crazy. So, welcome everyone, wherever you're tuning in from. We're so blessed that you're here with us today. We have a jam-packed day today in our corporate to entrepreneur series. This is our kickoff month for our new workshop, and we're so excited that you're here with us. God has been downloading with me for the last 3 months what we have in store for 2025. If you haven't officially joined our Wealth Creator Challenge, corporate to entrepreneur, I invite you to do that. Donis, if you could please put in the chat. We have a lot of gifts for you, my friends, a lot of things that we want to bless you with as you go journey through this year with us. If we haven't seen you since this summer, I've missed your beautiful faces. We're so happy to have you with us. And we have a lot of new faces here today. And I want to start with just applauding you all. You know, we had 95 people register for this event. And isn't it interesting how people register and imagine the people that are going to miss out on this event today? Because there's a lot of people that sign up for things, but not very many people show up for things in today's world. And so I want to give you my first tip to add to your toolbox, which I hope you consider today just another part of your entrepreneurial toolbox. When you are with us today, I want to invite you, first of all, get a notebook out. Make sure I have my wisdom challenge right here with me. Anyone else doing the wisdom challenge right now in January? Raise of hands for those of us that are doing the wisdom challenge. Whatever you use to take notes, make sure that you take some notes with us, but also plan on taking action with us. We're going to invite you to join us, continue to join us as we journey through the year together. And I want to make sure that you take advantage of this time. If you're new to our community, by the way, we have a gift for you. If you would like a actual hard present in the mail that comes with a bow on it, I'll give you a little teaser about what the gift is about. And I'm going to invite you, my friends, to first of all, if you're not naked, I really would invite you to turn your cameras on, my friends, okay? Turn your cameras on. I want to invite you to consider that we are here today together to reimagine the American dream. We have some incredible guests that are going to be sharing their genius with us. And I want to share with you today some stories that will help you consider how you can reimagine the American dream. Now, I'm going to start with asking all of you to close your eyes, please, for a minute. And I want you to hold your hand out to me. I'm going to give you a present, okay? So please close your eyes. I want you to imagine that you're on a walk on the beach and you're with one of your dearest friends. And on this walk, this is actually a walk that I had about 2 months ago. I was walking with one of my girlfriends. She's one of my god sisters, I call her. Anybody have friends that you get to talk with one another about your faith, about what God is doing in your life? Every time I see her, we have stories that we share with each other. And I was sharing with her about a story that had happened. And she said, wait, Lisa, you have to stop. This calls for a secret weapon. It's a secret weapon moment. Okay. And she had me hold out my hand and close my eyes. And she put something in my hand. So I want you to participate with me, friends. Put your hand out. Just imagine that I just placed something in your hand. Okay. It's a secret weapon. But unlike, she said, unlike some secret weapons, This secret weapon you actually want to share with as many people as you can. It is not a secret weapon that you want to keep secret. You actually want to share it. The more you share it, in fact, the more powerful this secret weapon gets. Okay. Now, for those of you that are participating, you can go ahead and open your hand now. And I want you to see what I just placed in your hand. Does anyone have a pocket Jesus? Does anyone have a pocket Jesus? All of my friends here on this call that see me in person, they have a pocket Jesus. This is my gift for you, friends. Whether you think of Jesus as a great man, there is Ordonez with her pocket Jesus, a great man of history, a great prophet. Whether you think of him as your friend, whether you think of him like I do as your personal savior, that literally gave the biggest sacrifice for me. However you look at Jesus, I hope you look at him as a friend in your pocket. I hope you look at him in a way that shows you that he cares just as deeply about the small things in life as he does the big things. So I want to invite you, if you haven't had a pocket Jesus, make sure you put your address in the chat. We will make sure and get you your very own pocket Jesus. Since my dear friend told me about this, I actually have ordered over 300 pocket Jesuses, and I have shared that I'm almost out of my last batch of 100. I want to invite you, friends, to remember a time in your life when you read stories, when maybe your mom would curl up with you, and you would hear stories, and does anyone have children? Raise of hands for those of you that have kids. Remember when your kids would be like, tell it again, I want to hear it again. And I want you to imagine for a moment that we have our little ones and it's time for bed, and always the stories go longer and longer because they're trying to avoid going to bed, right? And I want you to imagine that I sit down and I share this story. Sweetheart, I want to tell you a story about your future, this magical place. You're going to grow up. You are going to go to school. You're going to be a good student. After you finish high school, you're going to go away and you're going to go to college. You're going to study for probably another 4, maybe 10, maybe 15 years, depending on how much school you go to. Then you are going to get a job. You are going to get a job that you might like. Maybe you don't love it, but you might like it. It's going to be a job usually that just about pays the bills. It's going to be a job that you get to have someone that tells you what to do every single day, and you get to go to the same place at the same time, sometimes on the freeway. Sometimes you'll get to do it from home if you're lucky, but usually you're going to have somebody that's telling you, making sure that you're there on time. And you're going to stay at that job for maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years, maybe 40 years. It's hard to tell these days. But that is the story that I want to share with you, my sweet, beautiful child. Now, let me ask you, friends, how many kids would be asking to hear that story again? How many kids? How many kids? Lisa's like, yeah, not me. No, thank you. Next, right? But I want you to consider, friends, how have you bought into this story? Were you perhaps at some point in your life, like me, maybe you found a job that you absolutely loved. I personally had something that lit me up. I was so excited by what I did day to day. And I was like that for many years. I was blessed financially. I liked the people that I was working with. I didn't so much like the 19 bosses that I had in 23 years, but it was a good story for me. At some point, it started to shift. So I want to ask you for a minute to think about what is happening in your life today. Are you in a place where you are loving what you're doing? Are you in a place maybe that there's some shifts that you're thinking about doing? If you said yes to this workshop, there's something about it that appealed to you. What is going on in your world right now? Are you where you thought you'd be at this stage of your life? Is what you are doing lighting you up? Today, friends, we're going to share with you 3 steps to help you personally reimagine the American dream. And we're also going to teach you about how you can build kingdom wealth in your own family economy. I want to share with you a secret weapon that I also have. And I know and I believe from the bottom of my heart that you are God's masterpiece, my friends. If no one's ever told you that, please receive this from me and believe it. If we never get to meet again, I hope you take a screenshot of this and you pop it up on your phone when you're feeling low. And I want you to remember that you are God's masterpiece. This is one of my favorite scriptures, Ephesians 2:10. And my friends, if you personally don't know about the Bible, I want to also invite you to consider it as a great book of history and a great book that you can live your life by. The more wisdom you seek in your life, the fewer miracles that you need in your life. That was a quote by a very amazing pastor that I'm blessed to follow online. His name is Ron Carpenter. And he talks a lot about the fact that um, many people are on this roller coaster, this hamster wheel of life, and yet they've stopped realizing that they are the masterpiece, that they are created in his image, that they are perfectly and wonderfully made. So if this is new information to you, friends, it's funny, like I know that some people coming into this workshop, they're here for how many minutes are we in now? We're like about 15 minutes, and we're like, okay, this girl talks a lot about Jesus. She's telling me I'm a masterpiece. I don't really even know what that means. Well, friends, whatever faith lens that you look at life through, which I pray that you have some lens that you look at life through. I pray that you look at life through the lens that there is a good plan for you. It's one of abundance, and it's meant to be a life that you do with others. Right now, this experience right now is my church, one of my churches, the people that I get to do life with. New friends. By the way, I have another secret weapon. Not only do I have Pocket Jesus, not only do I know and believe in my heart that I am God's masterpiece, I also believe that everyone wants to be friends with me. I genuinely believe that. Now, whether they want to or not, that's up to them. But I personally believe everyone should be my friend. If you don't have a friend like Lisa yet, well, then I can't wait to force you to be my friend for life. You get to put up with my crazy antics, my silly jokes. I really like to have fun in this world. Who needs to have a little bit more fun in their life, by the way? Who could use a few more giggles in their life? Which, by the way, I'm still not super jazzed about how many people have their cameras on. I don't know really what's going on here, but if we can get some more cameras on and we can see some more beautiful faces, my friends, if you have your clothes on right now, you get to have your camera on. Imagine going into your conference center at your workplace, and you walk in a conference and everyone has a paper bag on their head. Imagine, would you ever do that, right? So let's have our cameras on together. I'm going to give you a couple of tips about what can help you make this a really, really good experience, okay? We're going to be together for the next 3 hours. I promise I'm not going to be talking the whole time. There's going to be other people talking as well. We're going to have some homework. I want to invite you to commit to staying with us today. Participate with us. God, if you need to hop off, be sure you catch the replays. We are going to be dropping gold this whole 3 hours. Now, if you do have stamina and you stay through the end, there's prizes at the end, but you must have your full name and be present to win. So my friend Victoria, Stephanie, other people that have just their first name, please put your first and last name. Take advantage of our free gifts as well, my friends. If you signed up officially for the workshop, you have free books, you have free sessions, you have top 10 tips for making money in your portal. There's all sorts of free gifts. And I also want to invite you, this is a series that we are launching in January. We are going to be doing this all year. We have incredible guests that are lined up to be our guests. And I want to invite you to join us next month. Keep up the momentum going. So these are some of the gifts that are in your inbox. Now, I'm going to start with 4 questions that I want you to ask yourself. And take a screenshot. You can tell that Lisa is a recovered corporate executive. I like PowerPoints. I like being able to click. And personally, when I attend a workshop, I like taking screenshots of things because I go back and I like to go through the list. I want you to consider the difference I am making in the lives of others is. What is happening in your life? How are you making a difference in the people that you love, in your neighborhoods, in your community, in your workplace? Maybe there's a difference that you aren't making yet, that you want to, that you have a deep desire to. What I would love my income to look like is. Friends, are you in a position where maybe you have your own business? So in fact, I would love to know in the chat, if you could put in the chat for me, who put a 1 if you're an employee, please. And this does require some participation, friends. Put a 2 if you are an employee, but you also have a business. And put a 3, friends, if you are a full-time business owner. There's a lot of full-time business owners that love what they do, but they haven't necessarily had the income to follow up, right? So number 1, if you're an employee, but maybe looking to start a business. Number 2, if you are still an employee, but have a business. And number 3, if you're a full-time entrepreneur, leading your own family economy. And by the way, friends, I would like to know, what does your income look like right now? And what would you love it to look like? One of the things that I love most about this crazy world of entrepreneurship is there is no ceiling on my income. Money is everywhere. You're going to learn this last year. I added an affiliate partnership that added over $100,000 to my family economy. That was just one of my businesses, and anyone can do it. There is nothing special about me. I'm not created any differently than any of you. I just happen to have a little bit more stamina maybe for intake of information, perhaps. I have a high capacity for learning. But guess what? These are all things that people can learn. What about the type of people? Who would you love to serve? What kinds of people would you like to serve? One of the problems in our world today that I would like to help solve is, what are some of the problems that you would like to solve? One of the problems, one of the things that lights me up is giving generously. One of the reasons that I do what I do is I have a deep passion to help other people generate more in their lives so they can be generous. This past weekend, I was on a mission trip with my daughter. This picture up on the right-hand side, this is a slab of concrete that we started with on Saturday morning. This sweet family, this is a single father with 2 children. They had been living literally on a dirt floor with cardboard walls before we got there. What would you do today if money was not an issue? This is one of the desires of my heart, friends, is to help people generate more in their lives, because I have a feeling a lot of us would love to be more generous. Is there anyone anyone besides me that has a passion for generosity. I personally think more money needs to be in the hands of good people so we can do good things. I think we should be sending wealthy missionaries to countries, impoverished countries. I think more money should be in the hands of good people. And I'll tell you what, I have a desire to create a tribe of seven-figure givers, not just earners, but givers. I'm a six-figure giver now. I'm not a seven-figure giver, but I'm going to be. And imagine something like what happened with my daughter and I. You know, it was not an inexpensive trip. We were there for a weekend, and it cost $1,200 to go for each of us. Right? That we had this fundraising activity, and I somehow disconnected on the fundraising activity, and so I was just planning to pay it. And at the very end, Sierra and I each had about $500 left of our $1,200 to go. And at the very end, a really generous benefactor came in, and there were like 15 families that still had quite a bit to raise for their trip. This was as of like a week before we were meant to go. And I got a text right before Christmas. Hey, guess what, Lisa? A very generous benefactor just went in and topped up everyone's mission trip. This family gave over $50,000 to our mission so that everyone could go. And imagine being able to do something like that. That is on my list that I get to do. Where would you go if money was not an issue? Who would you spend time with? You know, what experience do you have a desire to bless your children with? Or the next generation in your life? I can't wait to take my sweet girl, this girl, this little 16-year-old daughter of mine, who is under attack at school, my friends, under attack, vicious friends that she's had for her lifetime, just talking behind her back, talking from a place of jealousy, from a place of, I'm going to beat her down. And guess what? Sorry, it gets me emotional. This is my heart. Our next generation friends, they are hurting. They're hurting. They need us so badly. And that time away from, her being able to disconnect from her phone, it was fabulous. It was fabulous. Sorry. Didn't expect that to overcome me. But friends, think about who in your life this can impact, right? I want you to consider for a moment a January in the past. Oh man, I shouldn't have. Sometimes I really get emotional when I talk about these people. Okay, you're getting to know Lisa Williams really, really well right now, because I'm going to share with you this very special woman. Remember a January in the past, friends. Who were you with? How did you feel? What goals did you create for yourself? Did you have financial goals, physical goals, spiritual goals? Imagine, my friends, if you make a decision to partner with your higher power this year in your life. Now, you might be thinking, I don't necessarily have a higher power, Lisa. That's okay. I want you to know something. What this cross represents to me is love. If you believe in love, my friends, you have a higher power. You may not realize it, but you do. And this particular woman is my sweet mother. Meet Sue Weiss. She grew up in Montana on a wheat farm. She knew since she was 9 years old that she wanted to be a nurse. And she served beautifully as a nurse for 45 years. I will say she definitely is another one of my superpowers. I grew up in Alaska, and it was very dark in the winter. I would wake up in the wee hours of the night, and I have so many memories of walking into the living room, and there was this cute little, cozy chair. There was usually the fire lit and a little lamp, and my mom with her Bible in her lap. That is the model that I have in my life. Now, you might not have this model, my friends, but guess what? You can be this model to other people. You can surround yourself with people in our community and other communities. We might not be your cup of tea, by the way. I remember when I first worked in corporate, and I landed accidentally in this job that I absolutely loved for 23 years. Did anyone else accidentally land somewhere, by the way, in a job? Most people do actually at some point in their lives. Most people are not like my mom and knew what she wanted to do forever. But I remember walking through these halls of corporate, and we worked in this big, huge bullpen, this big sales floor. And I would always walk in and I would say hi to everybody. And I always had a smile on my face. And there was a very grumpy lady. Did anyone else have a grumpy lady at their office that, like, whatever you did, you could not make Kelly smile. You just couldn't, right? And she asked me one day, she said, Lisa Fleming, I was Fleming at the time. I had to switch husbands to get my girl, by the way. Has anyone else switched husbands, by the way? Sometimes you have to do that. Um, she's like, Lisa Fleming, why are you always so dang happy? And I didn't even hesitate. I said, well, I love Jesus and he loves me. And boy, that kind of made her stumble a little bit, right? It was not something you talk about and more at the workplace. You don't talk about your faith. But I tell you what, this is what this woman did for me. She taught me to bring the light of Jesus wherever you are, if you have that possibility. Now, I want you to consider, you may have had some rough chapters in your life. This is me back in 2003. I was a single mama. Very unexpectedly, my husband left when my kids were 3 months old and 3 years old. Little did I know that he was actually having an affair with one of my best friends. We toiled and struggled for over 2 years of counseling, never knowing, by the way, that this was going on. So really, there was like 3 people in that counseling room. I just didn't know about the third one, right? But I remember so vividly a moment I was on my knees in my closet. This fancy walk-in closet in this multi-million-dollar home in Irvine, California. You would think on the outside, man, this family's got it made. Their life is perfect, right? And I remember on my knees raging at God. What have I done? Why have you forsaken me? How am I going to do this? Because I had just learned that not only were they in a relationship, but they were going to get married. And this woman was going to be in my life for the rest of my life, most likely, right? And I just remember, friends, praying, begging God, please release me from this. Please ease this burden. And I can't describe it any other way, friends, but I still get God bumps when I tell this story. He did. It's my miracle. It's one of my miracles. We've gone on to have this really crazy blended family that we go on vacations together. We holiday together. Life works. My boys, he married my dear friend, who is my dear friend again, by the way, and has been for many, many years. We've done life together. And little did I know that travesty in my life would actually be the door that would open up this life of abundance. Little did I know that this is actually when I started my financial practice. I didn't realize it then, but I took a class at church for you Dave Ramsey fans out there. I took a financial peace class at church. I got really, really clear about where my money was going, right? And I became passionate about personal growth as well. Friends, we teach women to increase their cash flows. I personally was a high earner in corporate America. I made between 300,000 to 400,000 a year every single year for decades. And guess what? I actually found a level of financial freedom in my life at a very early age. And I didn't realize that this wasn't possible for most people. And this is what lights me up. the ability to help other women generate more in their lives. And we're going to talk about all the ways that there are, friends, to do this for yourselves. Right? I was blessed to be able to leave corporate America 2 years ago now. I've been running my own practice for 2 years full time. By the way, I did it very part time initially. I was working 60 hours a week. I had so many bosses in so many years and so many agendas that I had to adhere to. But when I discovered this world of entrepreneurship, and the fact that I could create my own economy, if I could do it in corporate America, building somebody else's dream, holy cow, just imagine what we can build as our own kingdom wealth creators, which we have. You know, my husband and I have gone on, he's now a full-time entrepreneur as well. We own several businesses doing, again, multiple six figures, and sky is the limit. And I want to invite you to consider all of this is possible for you. We're going to be talking a little bit about the niches that we believe are the most beneficial for people to focus on. If you're a business owner right now that has all your income in one basket, if you have one stream of income, which, by the way, most business owners do, you know, you almost go from who's a fan of the cash flow quadrant? Has anyone heard of that amazing book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? One of my mentors, Sharon Lechter, wrote it with Robert Kiyosaki. Most business owners, they leave a job where they trade their time for money, and then they end up hiring themselves, which is a great thing, but then they end up owning a job, which we don't want you to do. We want you to continue to move your way around the cash flow quadrant where you have a system that you can implement in your business that is repeatable, is duplicatable, that you can leverage the skills and abilities of others. And that's why I personally focus on industries that are, first of all, very lucrative. I'm a recruiter first and foremost in the financial industry, and there is no higher paid industry than the financial services vertical. So if you know, if you're interested in the world of finance, we can definitely share with you about that. Personal growth, personal development, how to build wealth, real estate, the crypto market, coaching. You know, we're going to learn a little bit more about these industries, why I have chosen these industries as an affiliate, because they are booming, they are growing, right? And there's a desperate need for them. So this is a perfect time to bring my friend Molly to the stage. I'm gonna pin you, my beautiful friend. How are you feeling, by the way?
I probably don't sound great, but you know what? We are mending. Got whatever that thing is going around, but we're charging through. So I apologize.
You're mending. Good, good. Happy New Year to you, my dear. You look beautiful. It looked like you had a nice time with your hubby, visiting family. I was stalking you on social media and seeing all the fun things that you were doing with your family. Friends, this is my friend Molly. She was introduced to me by another dear friend, and that's how our community works. You know, you are, by the way, you're here because you're already either friends with me, or you're friends with Molly, you're friends maybe with Daniella, who's another friend that we're going to have share with you in a little bit. But the point is, someone invited you. Now, you might be somebody that found me on Eventbrite or Facebook or LinkedIn. Wherever we found you, I believe that you're here for a reason. You know, and Molly, you have a really unique story that I would love for you to share a little bit, first of all, about some of your backstory. You know, you had a pivotal moment as well that you realized this corporate America dream was really not serving you in the best way that you can, or that you could. So tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll dive a little deeper into why we're so excited to have you here as well.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Lisa. I'm honored to be here and welcome everybody. Give yourself a pat on the back for being here, showing up, and just wanting to go all in and just be open to what the possibilities are. Now, when it comes to my background and what I've come from, I kind of resonate with your mom a little bit, Lisa. I knew at the age of 14, sounds crazy, that I wanted to be a news anchor and reporter. It was like the wildest like epiphany of like, I want to go tell stories. So I went down that track and got into the news. And about 2 years in, I looked around, I was like, this is it. I wanted to tell stories of the underdog. I wanted to be able to give people a voice because it's a very powerful medium, right? However, we all know what the news is about, and it's doom, gloom, destruction, death. It's all the negative. That's what people thrive on, unfortunately. So I had to get real with myself of, do you want to build into this thing that you're likely going to sacrifice your future family, be around toxic people, and stories that just instill fear in people? And I didn't know what was going to come next, but I knew that there was going to be an exit plan of some sort. So there was an exit plan. I ended up getting fired from my news job because I went on this health transformation. I had a before and after photo, and they basically said, we don't like that. And if you don't take it down, you're fired. But they fired me anyways. It was the biggest blessing, I'm telling you, the biggest blessing to be fired, the biggest blessing. So I am very grateful for that experience, because when I was in the news, I tried to do as much as possible. Writing, we had to shoot our own video, we had to edit our own video, we had to get creative, we had to network, talk to people. So it really set me up to getting into entrepreneurship. So like most people, I would say most, not everybody goes down this route. I dabbled into network marketing about a year before I got out of the industry. Found some products that I loved, and I said, you know what? I'm a former collegiate athlete. I love nutrition. I love pouring into my body. Why not? Well, my boss didn't like that either. And I said, well, then pay me more, because I had to open up not one, not two, but 3 credit cards in order to just fund everyday life, like nothing extra, like clothes, food, maybe sing my parents for the holidays, if possible, if I wasn't working. So anyways, network marketing opened up this whole world of personal and professional development. And I just happen to have really great mentors in every company I was in. I'm very grateful for that. But I am one of those people, no matter who's around me, I will see something and I'm like, what can I do? If nobody else can support me, what can I do? God, you gave this to me. What do you want me to do next? And so from there, I really found a niche of social media marketing, helping people be able to share their stories. And so I eventually opened up my own coaching practice, because I made a transition into the digital marketing space with my brother-in-law, and learned a lot about when it comes to putting packages together. What do people value? And I found across the board, more often than not, most people don't know how to articulate their story, what is it they can do for people, and what can set them apart. And right now, you're probably seeing a lot of this go around, or maybe I am, because I see it all the time on my feed all across social media. Branding yourself is imperative. It's not enough just to make all the money. People want to know, like, and trust you. Being able to put value out there is huge, And so throughout my whole trajectory from, I say, the news till now, I've been doing that because I caught on really early with social media of like, okay, it's going to go in that direction. Start building something now. And my strategy was throw some spaghetti at the wall, and whatever stuck, figure it out. Because I didn't have a mentor to say, post this thing, go this direction. Like back when I was learning that, that's where mentors were starting to emerge and trying to figure out the wild, wild west of social media. So anyways, long story short, from being a news anchor, getting into network marketing, digital marketing, having a very successful coaching agency to help people really step into their bold, real and authentic voice. The Lord said, we're done now. I'm going to give you another vision. And I'm like, what are you talking about? In walks this grandiose, big vision. Has anybody ever had a big vision from the Lord? And you're like, okay, question mark, I'm going to follow, but I have no idea what's going to come next. He gave me this vision to create a platform where women at the time, could grow personally and professionally, but God gets to be at the center. I saw as a coach time and time again, you have the difference of backgrounds, beliefs, what have you. And I believe you want to align with people that you feel aligned with, right? You don't want to just take it because they have the results or it's just what's available. You don't want to settle. You want to really know, who am I learning from? And so when he gave me that vision to create this membership, in walks my now business partner. Her name is Michelle Schaefer, who created this community, in this community. And Lisa, I don't know if you want me to keep diving in to keep sharing all that.
Yes, this is such, it's great timing. And I want to go back for a minute, to something you said that really hit me. the dream, friends, I think most of you are here because you have a big dream. People don't just sign up for these kinds of workshops because they're bored, right? These are, and I want to share a lesson, Molly, that will resonate with you. Would you agree that most people, they think about an idea, but they don't necessarily do anything else?
That's right.
100% of the time, or 90% of the time, that's the case. So the reality is, friends, if you're here, first of all, I think God has you here for a divine purpose. Um, I don't know what that is. You have to speak with God about that. And I invite you to do that. Molly, I'm curious, when you had this scary dream. I mean, I'm sure, like, when you have these visions, is there a part of you that is afraid? Are you at this point in your life, because you've done so much work on yourself, that you're just like, okay, God, you're in charge? Like, what's that like? What's that cycle that you go through like?
That is a great question because, people could come up here and say, oh, I just decided to do it and here we are. Well, there's a lot more detail that lies beneath. I had to battle a lot of imposter syndrome. I didn't come from a family that was entrepreneur. I had family doubt me like across the board of like, can you really do this? Should you be doing this? Why are you doing this? And I back then was a people pleaser. So not being able to have their full support was eating me alive, right? But I said, if I want to do something different, and I knew that God created me to have a big impact. He showed me that at a very young age. I just didn't know exactly what that would look like, right? Because we never do. I just said, okay, Lord, I'm going to trust you. And there was a lot of pruning. There was a lot of hard conversations. There was even distancing of, I love you, but I have to love you from over here, and just create some space because I have to figure this out without your fear being blasted all over me because you don't understand. God will give you a vision, and it doesn't mean everybody else is in on that vision, that they get it, because their fears, their insecurities will spill out onto you. And I finally saw, after a long time, I was like, it's because they love you. It's not because my family wanted me to like fail. So they love me, and they were like, can you go the safer route, please? No, absolutely not. We're going to go the risky route, and we're going to see where God's going to lead this. Because if it all blew up and it was gone tomorrow, I could go anywhere and find something with all the skills that I have learned. But you're never going to be able to build true character and really test the waters of your faith and who you are and what you've learned until you step out on faith. And building the company that we have now was a huge step out on faith, because in my consulting, I was making more money than I had ever made. And like I told you in the news, I had to open up 3 credit cards. Like, it was a costly job. Let's just put it that way. And the Lord said, put it down. I have something greater for you, because deep down, my husband and I have not had kids yet, but we definitely will expand our family. It was the future family that he would give me visions of. If you create this, you're sacrificing this. Trust me in where I'm leading you. And it can be hard to release and surrender, but I can tell you it's worth it.
Wherever you're at, friends, in your journey of family, you might be like, Molly and I have very similar stories. We came up, it's probably pretty middle class, right, Molly? Not, there wasn't a lot of money, but there was, maybe one trip a year or every other year, maybe a steak dinner once a year for my birthday, right? Going out was like McDonald's was a treat in my house. I mean, Alaska, there's not a lot to go out. But Molly, when you think about what you said about the people that they love you, it's not because they don't love you. It's because oftentimes, first of all, they don't see themselves doing it, right? That's a big one. Their fear can interfere with our success if we let it, right? So I want to, really give you encouragement, friends, that if you're here, by the way, and you go home today and you talk to your spouse, let's say, about what you did, they might not get it, by the way, right? My friends that know me, my husband is he is a certainty guy. Is anyone married to any certainty people or have certainty people in their lives? And is there anything less certain, Molly, than a job? in your opinion? Now that you know what you know, you've been in the marketplace long enough as an entrepreneur. Now, we're not saying it's a cup of tea. It's not an easy road. But is there anything easy really about being an employee? When you think about it, right?
Not at all. When I left being an employee, I just said, okay, you get to choose your hard. You work for somebody else or you do something on your own. And I didn't know what on my own was going to look like, but I said, okay, I just need to go surround myself with people who are doing it. That wasn't something that I came from. So I just started scouring the internet and social media and found online mentors because that's all we had back at the time. Coaching wasn't really a big thing back when I started doing this in like 2015 ish. It was like, okay, let me just kind of learn here and there. But yeah, it's choose your heart because both ways it's going to be difficult. But what kind of life do you want to live? And what kind of legacy
Yeah.
do you want to leave?
Yeah, absolutely. I love watching what you share on social media. And friends, if you aren't following Molly, I would recommend find her on Facebook, on Instagram. She shares about her life experience. She shares a lot about her faith, which I love. Right now, Molly, are you doing the Sacred 60 by chance? Or I know you've probably done it in the past, right?
I am not doing it at the moment, but we have a big group that's diving into that.
I will tell you. So, by the way, when do you sleep out of curiosity? Because I see you post things like literally at like 3 a.m., at 4 a.m. Then actually, when I think about it, I don't see you post things late at night very often. So do you go to bed early and then wake up really early?
This is the number one question I get is number one, what time you go to bed? Number two, where's Johnny? And Johnny's my husband. So the top two questions are always those two. But I go to bed typically like around, when it gets dark during the winter, once it gets dark, you can find me laying down like as early as like 6:30. Like I'm not even
Right.
joking because I get up during the week at 2 o'clock in the morning. I know that sounds crazy, but I have a whole like regimen and quiet time that I go through before I mind right, spirit right, go to the gym and give myself pretty much like a 4 to 5 hour runway before I take any calls. Because I serve a lot of our ambassadors inside of our community that we have with Kingdom Alliance, and my phone's always going off. So in order for me to serve, I have to make sure my cup gets filled. And yeah, so I'm
Good for you.
sure.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things, we're gonna talk more about exactly what Molly's talking about, but I want to lay the frame a little bit about why I'm so excited about this membership. So we are going to share more details, as we wrap up the workshop. But what I saw when I became a member of Kingdom Alliance was, holy cow, where was this when I first started my entrepreneurial journey? I went through with Molly, an exercise where we actually talked about the stack of things that we've all bought. Anyone else have a list of things that in their entrepreneurial journey they have purchased? Masterminds, like courses. Molly, how much would you say you've spent in your career on courses and memberships and workshops? And I'm going to level up in this skill set. I'm going to do that.
I would say easily multiple five figures, if not more. So there is
Mhm.
a lot, but I also leverage my skill set and say, hey, I'll swap you. So, it would have cost more, but
Yes.
let's barter because like we both can utilize what we have to be able to grow. But yes, a lot of money,
Yeah.
a lot.
I love it. Well, but you think about it. Let's put it into perspective. How much is the average college education these days? Right? Average college education is 150 grand, by the way, friends. I know because I have one I've already put through school, one I'm putting through now, and one that's still on the way. Lisa Haley knows what I'm talking about. She's done the same, right? I did a little total up of what I have spent just in the last 5 years, my friends. My very first training I did, um, Molly, did you ever take any training from Shanda Sumter by chance? Do you know who
I did
she is
not.
down in San Diego?
I did not personally, but my husband's a videographer and worked with her. So we were around her
Okay.
quite a bit.
So, you know, like, I mean, I was a victim of a Facebook ad from Shanda. She was hosting a local event down in Newport. I had only just started my financial practice and I was like, there is so much I have to learn. I don't know what this lady's selling, but it sounds like something I probably need. And I went to this free workshop that ended up costing me $5,000, right? Because of course I took what she offered. This is, friends, I just put together a rudimentary list of what I know for sure I've spent in the last 6 years, over $200,000, right? Now, my friends, I want you to consider most people don't have $200,000, quite frankly. I tapped into my retirement account for some of that. Actually, I believed it was a wise investment, and I still do. But one of the things I loved most about the Kingdom Alliance community was it's so affordable for everyday families. It's something that anyone can do if they believe that personal development, personal growth, membership is important in community building. There's something so powerful about community that I love about Kingdom Alliance. So tell us a little bit about, why the membership, like how did this come about? Why have you positioned it in a way that does have the network marketing component? By the way, not you don't necessarily have to use that component. I personally think the network marketing model is the most brilliant marketing model on the planet. Why would you not work with many hands? It is the epitome of the cash flow quadrant, working with a system that you can duplicate and anyone can do. But tell us about the mechanics behind, why that type of content, the grow, save, earn pillars. Let's go into that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when I partnered with Michelle and we built membership back in 2020, we wanted to have a place, like I mentioned earlier, where there is personal professional development and God gets to be at the center. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be a Christian to come in to learn from these amazing experts, because you do get it at a fraction of the cost than hiring them on like a course, group coaching, anything. And so we had that affordability piece, which I'll get to that a little bit later, but a 3-figure investment rather than a 4 or a 5, because most people who need it can afford the 4 and 5-figure investments. And then you just saw Lisa's laundry list of all the things that she's invested in. There are people that are like, okay, I need to go this route. I need to go this route, feel convicted on that. And I love that you said this, Lisa, you don't regret it. Like all of that got you to where you are now, right? So it was just an investment in yourself. So we wanted to create this community where people could have those resources. Now, it started off just as a membership. It was like $40 a month back then. You can come in. We had a Radiant Leadership Academy, which is a 16-week deep dive into biblical leadership. That is one of our flagship programs. And because of the breakthroughs and just what people have been able to transform within themselves and their families and their relationships, that actually set us on the trajectory to becoming an opportunity, which is the network marketing model. Now, to give a little back end on that, my business partner and her husband collectively have been in network marketing for 55 years. And I like to say, first and foremost, they did it right. They truly have led with that mindset of how can I serve you and how can I actually help you create freedom? And a lot of people who may not have the best taste with network marketing feel the like, oh, you just sold me into something, you left me, and here I am to like kind of shrivel up and we'll see what happens. That was not Bobby and Michelle Schaefer at all. So when God gave her this back, to build this out as a network marketing opportunity so people could share it, it was the marketing model we chose. It was the like gasoline to the fire and just exploded. And within our first couple months, we launched into about a dozen different countries. And so many people that literally were saying, I've been looking for this. I've been praying for this. Where has this been all my life? Because we've never seen something that has the resources to grow, resources to save, and earn. Well, I should say grow and save, and then you add the earn component. We haven't seen anybody create that before because there are a lot of components. But Bobby and Michelle have been equipped this whole way with the experience that they've had, the leadership that they've had, and just the heart for people that they truly want to serve because they themselves have created multiple 6 and 7-figure earners. So it's one of those where you really want to be aware of who you partner with. But we know inside of this community, when you opt into our 10 academies, whether it's our speaker academy, leadership academy, wealth academy, author academy, we have several more. When you get into that and you have these personal transformations of writing your book, creating your signature talk, developing into that leader God's called you to be, so on and so forth, you're really growing and changing from the inside out. That is true freedom. Now you add the model of network marketing onto it, of go be a promoter and go share this with as many people as possible because of what you've experienced and what you're seeing other people experience. It's a genius model because you didn't have to create it. You don't have to facilitate the calls. You don't have to facilitate and build anything. And I know Lisa and I have talked about that ad nauseum because she's like, what is this? Like, I feel like I stepped on a gold mine. We've had those conversations many times. So we just believe that God gave us this vision to steward so people can grow personally, professionally. They can save on everyday purchases. And then they can go out there and earn and share it with other people, and truly develop and be equipped to know how to share it, not be spammy and gross, but build relationships and love people and leave them better than when we found them, which when you do that with this model, it's a game changer.
It's an absolute game changer. I love my word of the year last year was leverage. And that is, I feel like this platform is the epitome of leverage. There's a lot of people on this call that are already coaches. They're already business owners, that they have a system that they're running. They're offering XYZ to their customers. As a coach, as a speaker, as an author, there's almost always something that you see on Facebook that's like, add a membership. I tried to launch 2 memberships over the last 6 years. It was a pain in the butt, and I could never, it was never as good as I wanted it to be because I couldn't pack it all in. There's so much that's available. And that's why I absolutely love, there's over 400 courses in the membership. I personally think, Molly, what do you think about this? In my world of finance, we teach about compound interest, the beautiful rule of 72, right? I believe there's a compound interest effect to what personal development can do as an entrepreneur in your life. Tell me about that piece for a minute, because I think people far underestimate the power of personal development in their lives.
Absolutely. And I have been, you mentioned earlier, being a victim of, I've been a victim of different trainings and different courses, different things where I'm like, yeah, this is not what I was wanting to get out of it. And sometimes, that happens, right? That happens. But one of the things that we say in our community, and we mean it, and it is lived out every day, is change yourself, change the world. That compounding effect with the people that are watching you on social media, the people that live in your home, the friends that you have, them watching you transform from that caterpillar to the new butterfly, right? Because we're all evolving into another stage, another level in our life, is huge because it gives them permission of like, okay, if she can do it, if he can do it, then why can't I? And so being able to be that possibility is huge. And one of the phrases that I heard many years ago in a leadership training I was in that changed my life forever was, I fight for people's possibilities while they'll fight for their limitations. So if you're that person that chooses to fight and just choose to lead other people, they're going to remember that. They're going to be there. They're not going to want to go anywhere. They're looking for that leadership and that connection. And that is the very foundation of what we've built everything on Kingdom Alliance, is that leadership factor. Because most people have those dreams, but they just aren't led properly. Most leaders will just leave them being like, well, when you figure it out, let me know, I'm here. Yeah, it doesn't work out that way. You get to see where people are at. And we just happen to have a lot of resources, our academies, live calls, courses, that can help people really navigate this on their own time. But then I'm a natural networker where I'm like, Lord, who do you want me to talk to today? Who do you want me to talk to today? Being a co-founder of this company, I have a lot of calls on my schedule, but at the end of the day, I look at each call as the one. How can I serve this one person? What do they need? How can you use me in the next, 20, 30 minutes? And so I believe with that posture and that leadership, many, many more lives will be changed through what we're doing here.
Absolutely. Friends, that some people, they might be hearing this, whether you're live with us or on replay, and maybe you aren't a believer, for example. You might not be someone that has necessarily a faith lens that you look at life through. Um, what I want to invite you to consider is that regardless of what you believe, you're surrounded by good people doing good things with a passion for serving. It's funny, like if you were um, picking a neighborhood and you had an opportunity to live next to a Christian, would you say yes to that? Versus maybe somebody else that wasn't a believer, and regardless of, there's a lot of people that have been very church hurt in our world, Molly, and let's talk about that because I personally have been church hurt. I know a lot of people. I don't think Jesus' plan was to have these 65,000 denominations. I think humans have screwed up the two best ideas that God had, democracy and Christianity, actually, by all the ideas that we all have. So for somebody that may be coming in that's like, what, faith is not a really big part of my life. Is this really for me? What would you say to that?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like being around good, genuine people that are going to love you and accept you where you are. And if you choose to step in and you want to grow to that next level, we're there and we're going to love you, not condemn you, not shame you, not FOMO you, none of that. Because unfortunately, the business world does that. I've seen churches that do that. And like at the end of the day, Jesus is love. And like you said, there's been a lot of people that have showed the opposite in his name, and it's very unfortunate. But we've had many people come inside of this environment that will never go back to a church because of how they were treated and what had happened. But when they come here and they see, wow, these people are actually for me. They love me. They want to see me win. They want the best for me, to really take that deep dive. And like I said, the freedom, as much as we, yes, want to be 7-figure givers. I love that you have that as like a staple. That's my favorite. The freedom really comes from the inside out. How can we heal from the things that have happened to us in the past that are plaguing our future? Because I see it all the time. It just is like a never ending cycle. So until we decide to create a new neural pathway, I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with all that, Dr. Caroline Leaf, but it's important. It's very important. Otherwise, you're just going to keep repeating the same cycle. And this time next year, it's going to be the same, going to be the same, going to be the same. So decide to step out and do something different.
Decide to step out. And I also want to just give you some very tactical, practical things to think about. The industries that I choose to align with. I am a headhunter, first and foremost. I look at supply and demand in the economy. I look at growth. I look at where is there money to be made? Where can we generate more in our own lives so we can be generous? And I want to share some stats that might startle you, maybe not, but the personal development space, the market size in 2022 was 43 billion, almost 44 billion. Do you know it's estimated to be 67 billion by 2030? Okay. Friends, the financial industry, women are going to possess 2/3 of the entire wealth of our nation by 2030. My friends, don't you think women get to level up in their finance realm? They get to level up their financial IQ. Let's talk about coaching, the coaching industry, online coaching industry. Right now it's 2 billion market cap. It's going to more than double by 2028. Okay. So there's plenty of money to be made, plenty of people to serve out there. There was $2 billion spent last year. I saw another stat. I love stats. I'm a numbers girl. Numbers make sense to me. And there was $2 billion spent on coaching last year, friends. People are looking for you. If you're here and God's planted a seed in your heart for coaching, there's a reason for that. And why on earth would you reinvent the wheel if you don't have to? Why on earth wouldn't you leverage something else that's already been created masterfully for you that you can leverage, right? So Molly, we're gonna let you go, my dear. I know you have a busy day. Thank you so much for blessing us with your time. You'll get to know Molly a lot. As we wrap up the workshop, I'm going to share more about how you can get on board with the Kingdom Alliance membership yourself. And you'll get to know Molly personally if you decide to make that brave leap for yourself. But Molly, thank you, my dear. Thank you for the blessing of you. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Okay, bye, sweetheart. See ya. Friends, just an example of the many, many people that we have the opportunity to learn from. I've only been a member of Kingdom Alliance a couple of months, but so far I've taken many classes myself in the membership. One of my favorites was one that Molly did, where she actually taught about how to share your faith authentically online. Because I will say that one of my driving reasons that I do what I do is that I get to share the good news with more people. I really want to share the good news of that you are God's best idea. And I think entrepreneurship is a beautiful way to share the good news with people. Friends, we're going to dive in a little deeper into this 3 steps that are instrumental in the kingdom wealth building journey. Now, some of you are already partners of mine in this beautiful community that we have. It's this kingdom entrepreneurship community. But for those of you that are new, I want to share with you the Kingdom Wealth Formula. Now, the Kingdom Wealth Formula is very simple, and it starts with protection first. The 3 steps to the Kingdom Wealth Formula are protect, earn, and multiply. Now, protection looks like a lot of things, okay? So for some people, it's protection of ourselves, our lives, our loved ones. For some of us, it's protection of our assets. I have some very personal stories when it comes to protection because I personally had a tale of 2 cities in my life. I want to introduce you again to two beautiful people in my life that are no longer with us. My mother, who I introduced to you later, Mom passed away in 2019. And then my very, very best friend, Elizabeth, died 10 months after Mom did. I lost basically the two people that were my people in a very short span of time. And it was a tale of 2 cities. My mother, she and my dad, they pretty much had their lives like as perfectly tied up as in a bow as you could financially. Some people have in their financial world, it's like a junk drawer. Does anyone have a financial junk drawer? It's like, I think I know where that policy is. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm saving somewhere in retirement. I think I might have an savings account somewhere. My parents, they pretty much had everything like as perfectly buttoned up as they could. When my mom passed away, she actually planned her own funeral. It was gorgeous. My Elizabeth, on the other hand, she left behind 4 children under the age of 12, and she had no life insurance. Her family will never be the same again. And protection, that's really, protection is actually a very biblical term. Plan for the future, leave inheritance for your children's children, right? I want to ask yourself, if something happened to you today, what would happen with your family financially? Just be very brutally honest with yourself. This is a very personal story for me because Elizabeth's family will never be the same again financially. And I also want you to think about protection can also be the highest form of leverage. Life insurance, we have life insurance on our phones, our cars. Yesterday, I have a new washing machine. I had a warranty and I was paying extra coverage on my washing machine. I called them up. I said, this is not working. We've only had it 90 days. Well, thank God I still had that, that warranty and that extra coverage, because it was 91 days. I wouldn't have been able to get it covered. But for $7 a month, now they're going to cover it. Okay. You think about, we have insurance on everything. But do you know that 70% of families don't have life insurance? My friends, and life insurance is one of the least expensive things that you can buy on the planet. If you do it when you're young, when you're healthy. Obviously, the higher the years go, the higher the premiums go, right? So ask yourself, am I protected? What about your assets? I want you to think about, is the wealth that you have protected? Many of you know I am a licensed approval addiction coach, but guess what? I'm also a licensed life and health specialist. I am a licensed, person that can help you with your finances. I want to encourage you, friends, if you are planning to make some changes in your financial roadmap, please do not take financial advice from people on TikTok. Please do not take financial advice from radio personalities. Okay, make sure that you work with someone that is a professional. As the market, this slide looks a little scary, I know, for people that have money in the market right now, but I want to draw your attention to the years between 2000 and 1999 and 2009. They call this the lost decade, okay? Now, friends, I had over $1 million in my retirement account at this time. Guess what? I lost almost $400,000 in the span of 6 months into the 2008 crash. And isn't it funny how, does anyone ever call the 401k a scam? Have you ever heard anybody call it that? And yet, look at what happened to all of us. By the way, it didn't matter what you were invested in. That's what everybody lost, right? I had 2 financial advisors that I worked with. So friends, is your income protected? Is your income protected from, God forbid, these 2 hands are not here anymore to provide for your family? What you have saved, is it protected? Because guess what? Now we've been going up for the longest running bull market in the history of our lifetime, my friends. Do you think there's a possibility that something is coming? 100%. Absolutely. So my question to you is, are you prepared for that? If you have money in the market right now, have you been watching it? Did you know that you can actually protect that too? Right now, what's happening in our economy is we are expecting something major. We are expecting something possibly worse than 2008. And there are so many families that their entire livelihood is in jeopardy. And yet it doesn't have to be that way. One of the ways that we help families is meeting with our Kingdom Wealth Specialist teams, where you can actually participate in actively understanding, how can I say, no, thank you. I'm not going to opt into that next crash. I'm going to protect my family's livelihood, what we've saved, because you do not have to do what everybody else is doing, my friends. Next question I have is, what about your income? How did COVID affect your life and income? Is your income protected from whatever is coming next? Last year at this time, it was actually last year, October, my husband walks in the kitchen from the gym. Normally he comes home and he's like really excited after the gym, and I'm sitting there working at the kitchen counter, and he had this look like somebody had died. And he had just been laid off. The first time in his life. He's been a recruiter for 30 years. He's the one finding people jobs, right? And he had just been laid off. He got a call. Yeah, Paul, we really like you, but unfortunately, budget cuts. Has anyone else ever been laid off before by chance? Has anyone else ever been like me, basically pushed out of a job? because my ideas were really not welcomed. Maybe my ideas were taken by somebody else and given. Stephanie's raising her hand there. I remember that story, Stephanie. In this case, Paul was just no longer needed because the company was not hiring, right? And guess what? I secretly was like, yes, God, thank you, God. Because I knew how good my husband was. I knew what God would do with him and could do with him and through him. And what's crazy is a year later now, Paul has built his own recruiting company. We'd had this company on the side that we'd been building for a couple of years together. But again, my husband's a certainty guy. When he realized that certainty of that paycheck wasn't there, guess what? He went all in. And that man, I'm so proud of him, what he's done. Not only has he surpassed what his W-2 income was, but there's no limit to what is possible. And friends, I believe the same is possible for all of you. If you are maybe in a place right now where you're in a job you don't love, or maybe you're between jobs, maybe you're in a business that just lights you up, but the cash flow hasn't followed. Friends, I promise you, God would not plant these dreams in your heart if he did not plan to surround you, equip you, empower you with the people and the skills and the tools to help you accomplish them. And I want you to really consider in 2025, does it make sense to have all my income in one basket? Does it make sense to learn how to multiply our money? How can we learn how to multiply our money, friends? This is the deal. There's 3 types of people in this world. There's people that work for someone else. There's people that work for themselves. But then there's people that put others to work. And only one, my friend, offers time and money freedom. I took 12 vacations this year with my family. I went all around the world. Every place I wanted to go, I went. I said yes. And guess what? I took my business with me. One of my favorite trips was this beautiful trip that I got to take with this beautiful woman who we're going to hear from in a minute. I went to Washington, D.C. this fall. Did anyone hear about the 1 million women called to pray in our mall in D.C.? I heard about it and I'm like, yes, God, I get to be there. I want to be there. And does anyone else love to go on retreats? Is anyone else interested in, do you kind of like to go hang out with other women, do fun things, like maybe go shopping, get your hair done, do makeup together, inspire each other, dream together? I love to do that kind of thing. And that's what we did on this retreat. I want more of that for more women. More women get to explore the life that they are called to live. And I'll tell you, one of my dreams that God's been building in my life right now is at some point, I know I am going to have my retreat center in Alaska, where I'm from. And this retreat center is going to be focused for single mamas like I was, who are starting fresh. They're going to go to Alaska because, first of all, it's the most beautiful place on earth. They're going to get strong. They're going to go hiking. They're going to go fishing. They're going to build skills that they didn't have before when it comes to finances and entrepreneurship. And guess what? It is going to be my give to them. They're going to apply. They're going to have to be on scholarship. They're going to show us why they deserve to be there. It's not going to be a handout, but we're going to equip. We have a mission to empower, equip, and inspire 1 million women to hire themselves in our greater mission to create a tribe of 7-figure givers. And this is the dream that God planted in my heart. What dream has he planted in your heart? Because I don't believe you'd be here if you didn't have some dream that was planted in your heart. But one of them, friends, is I want to just empower you to understand you do not have to be 90% of entrepreneurs that never make more than $50,000. There is no need for that. There is too much good in this world that people are seeking, and they are looking for you. You just get to stop thinking you need to do it all by yourself, right? Yes, you have skills and abilities that you were uniquely qualified for. But the only way, truly, friends, to offer time and money freedom is to get yourself out of the one that is constantly the moneymaker. You absolutely are a crucial part of that, but you get to be in some sort of system that doesn't require you, your two hands, to be there. That's the cycle that most coaches and speakers and authors get in, is they own a job now, right? I want to help you see that it doesn't have to be that way. Imagine, how many friends do you know that when COVID hit, I have lots of friends that are speakers. Literally, their entire calendar was canceled. Their entire paycheck was canceled. Um, I have a good friend, my dear sweet Ordonez, and her husband, traveling entertainers, literally cancel, cancel, cancel every single thing, right? So friends, just imagine really embracing a system that you can use in whatever business you have to help yourself move from the left side of the cash flow quadrant to the right, where you have a true business system that is no limit on your income. You have a system-driven income. It continues when you're sleeping, and it creates that passive income that's even sellable and transferable. Two of my businesses, I can sell at some point. I can maybe leave them to my children if any of my kids, have a desire to do what I do. But I want to encourage you, if you are not in your kingdom calling right now, if you haven't opened all the gifts that God intended for you, what are you waiting for, my friends? My sweet Elizabeth, she had a lot more to do on this earth. God called her home very soon, a lot sooner than we expected. And that opened my eyes to the fact that we do not have tomorrow as promised. Now, eternity is promised to us, but our time on this earth gets to be very well spent, right? So I am going to actually bring my dear friend Daniella to the stage here. And Daniella, she and I, we actually were blessed to be on this retreat that I shared with you about. We went to DC. And it's funny, when I was in corporate, I would go, I was in sales, and I would go to these networking events. And did anyone ever go to networking events, and you'd basically I was trained, get as many business cards as you can. Just gather. Don't really worry about anything else, but just gather those cards. And then you would go back to the office, and we'd have this workout Wednesday where we'd all be on the phone, vigorously calling, oh, I met you on, Tuesday at the women's whatever, right? And I really want to know more about you and tell you a little bit about me. And, when I think back, it just makes me cringe. Really, it really does. When I went, when I first said yes to entrepreneurship, I heard someone talk about, when you go to an event, be intentional with what you are seeking. And I've learned now to pray myself into any event that I go to. I didn't always do that. Although I don't remember a time in my life I didn't know Jesus, I didn't always invite him in to every aspect of my life up until the last couple of years. But when I was preparing to go to this event in DC, I was asking God, Lord, please just highlight who you want me to connect with. And Daniella was one of two people that were highlighted to me on that event. And I've told you this, my dear, but I, first of all, just adore this woman. I love her story. I think it is really going to resonate with a lot of you. I also love how she's serving her community. Daniella is a storyteller, and she helps people tell their stories, right? So Daniella, I'm going to bring you to the stage, honey. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Welcome, my dear. So
Thank
good to
you so much.
see you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. And I have to say, Lisa, I had a very similar situation happen with me. You know, my husband was also, traveling with me to that event. And he said, I feel like God's going to connect you with like one or two ladies, but there's going to be one that he's going to connect you with. And it's going to be just such a very, impactful connection. So I want to say we also resonate with that as well. So we know it was a God thing for sure.
Yeah. We
So,
had we had a lot of fun. We're both foodies. We had some fabulous meals. We got to dress up. We had a photo shoot, and we had just some really wonderful conversations along the way. Daniela, you were one of those where COVID really hit you in the career space. So tell us a little. Give your backstory a little bit.
absolutely. So, first, I want to say I'm honored to be able to speak with all of you today. I didn't think if you would have asked me this a few years ago, I would be having this conversation with you right now, because I was in a much different space. A lot of tears, a lot of frustration, a lot of, oh my goodness, I worked my whole life for a degree to be in a career that now I don't even think legally I'm going to be allowed to be a part of. So that was really, really stressful. I was also a brand new mom when all this happened, when COVID happened. My son was born in January, and then the whole world shut down. Schools got everyone had go home. We're going to be maybe virtual. We don't know. And he was only 2 months old, so I was battling the having being a new mom, all the emotions, all the things, and now everybody's getting shut down, and we're like, what is happening here? But a lot of a big important part to understand about my background is that I also come from a family of carpenters, like people just hard workers. My family is Italian, so Italian descent. So a lot of them were business owners, but they were those who worked in their business. And so I always laugh when I speak with my dad now, and I'm like, why didn't you keep going with the business? He's like, it was hard work, and I'm like, yeah, but you could have scaled it. You could have hired in people. You could have worked on the business instead of continuing to work in the business. So some of those mindset things were there initially, but there were some shifts that I had to make later on. But I was taught, you go to school, you get an education, you put a lot of money into your education, and then you're going to have a job that's comfortable. It's a reliable paycheck. You're going to get all of the benefits and all the things. So part of my background was being in education. I was a middle school teacher, and I was considered highly qualified to teach in New York. And that meant that you needed a lot of school. So it was like, you had your bachelor's, then you had to get the master's, then you had to get an additional 30 credits. So they make you do a lot here in New York to teach. And I had all of that. And I remember coming to, right as I was finishing one of my programs, I remember God telling me to just pause what I was doing. And I was like, pause what I'm doing. I worked really hard. I graduated summa cum laude. Like, this was my life. I was going to be a principal by 30 years old. That was my goal. And, and I was on my way there. And then when COVID happened, everything sort of shut down, and God's like, you're not going to need what you're going to do with this school. You're not going to need this. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not going to need this? This was my life. This is my career. It's my livelihood. And he's like, just trust me. And so I've, no matter which way you kind of went with this, however you felt about it, I felt a personal conviction to not go along with the mandates. At the time, there were a lot of things for me personally, that it was a personal decision. And in New York, it was required either you vaccinated, or you were fired. That was it. And there was no looking forward. And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can get reciprocity. Maybe I could move to a different state. I mean, this was all so new. Nobody knew what was going on. All I knew is that my job was done, because I wasn't going to go that direction. And I was kind of trusting God also at the time, because I had felt a call for entrepreneurship leading into that. There were things that I was praying for. I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to homeschool, actually, something really important for me, having the education background. So I wanted to homeschool. I wanted to instill certain values. And I was actually getting very frustrated at my school, because there were a lot of values that were clashing, things that I would bring up or that I wasn't comfortable implementing in my classroom. And it kind of made me the black sheep in some ways in the room. And so there wasn't a lot of freedom. And so, like you, Lisa, I felt that that too, where my principal was kind of trying to push me out in a way. And then this was kind of just like everything coming together. And it was like, for me, it was confirmation, time for you to go. And I'm going to bring you into something new. And I know that some people here may not be believers per se, but I did feel definitely guided by God to go to this next step, right? To walk away from that. And it was scary, but I was kind of forced into entrepreneurship in a way, because at the same time I was also praying to have that life where I could be with my kids, where I could travel. I wanted to be full-time in ministry, and my heart is for discipleship. And I actually became the director of discipleship ministry at my church. So there were a lot of things I wanted to do, but I know I needed time. And I didn't have the time when I would go to work, even though I would clock out at 3:30 or whatever it was, I still had to commute home. And then I had to grade papers, and then I had to like I was married to my job essentially. So all of that for me wasn't worth it. I knew I needed my time. And so this was kind of a loving push in that direction. So I don't know if you want me to pause there, but that's kind of how all.
It's such a good example of, has anyone ever been really, when you look back, pushed out, a door kind of slammed on your booty on the way out? And it's really, when you think about it, God oftentimes has opened other doors that you could have walked in, that you just didn't take that brave leap, right? So sometimes, I mean, I know you and I have talked about this. This happened 100% for you in pursuit of God's greater plan for you, right? So you took that pain, because it was painful, it was scary, and you created this beautiful business as a result of it, storytelling and helping people tell their stories. Now, I'm curious about that. How did that come about? I got fired by my ex-mother-in-law. Oh, Dana, I had not heard that story. I need to remember to ask you about that story. But tell me, why storytelling? Tell me about that. And, I think it's fabulous because everyone has one. Everyone has a story. And all of our stories can be used. Tell me about the formation of how you're serving now.
Yeah, for sure. So it's actually pretty funny because when we first started out, we were in the realm of marriage coaching. So that wasn't really on my radar, but I kind of heard, like the small voice of God, like, go into stories, self-publishing. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know anything about self-publishing. I was actually in the process of trying to publish my own book, the first book that I was in the process of writing. And it was interesting how everything sort of came about, because the first book that I wrote, Faith Crushed in the Classroom, really opens up eyes for a lot of people about what is really happening in the classrooms, what are the values that are actually being instilled, and how it's impacting this generation. And so I knew that even with the release of that book, I'm like, I don't know who would even want to have me as a teacher, unless I worked at a Christian school or something, because the things that were being exposed in this book, I knew was going to cause a lot of controversy. So God had actually been telling me to write my own book. And as I was obedient with that, like I didn't have the funds at first to do it. I kind of struggled with a lot of it. But as God was telling me to do that, once that book was actually published, I went through a more traditional publisher, and I didn't really care for kind of the process, some of the limitations that were involved with it. And I recognized that it didn't let me step into the full potential of what I could do as an author, or really as an influencer, right? As somebody who's been called to influence in a specific area. So all of this sort of started to mold together from my own experience of writing and publishing. And so I actually ran my first challenge. I was like, you know what, I'm going to run this. I'm an English teacher. I could do this. I teach kids to write all the time. This is my background. So I took the knowledge that I already had. So it's sort of two parts. It's God leading through experience, but also the background that I had. It kind of made sense for me. And I was like, I like stories. I've loved books growing up. I said, let's give this a try. Let's see how it goes. And for all of you listening, if you're not sure if you want to launch a business, an online business, or you need an idea of something, there are a lot of great businesses out there, but I will tell you that when it comes from something that you've gone through, when it comes from like your heart story, you're hearing Lisa as she's sharing, that's 90% of what you're doing when it comes to business. It's 90% because you don't want to do something you just because it makes money. I mean, yes, that's probably good, right? But you also want there to be something that you're passionate about doing. What you're passionate about and how you're also, going to generate income, they can actually work together. Miles Monroe talks about working your purpose. And so a lot of what we do is really connected with that. It's what is the thing that you've gone through? What is the story? What, if I look back at your life, what are the victories that you've had? And you'd be surprised that those are the solutions that you carry for people. Business is all about bringing solutions to the marketplace. So you have solutions, whether you realize it or not, in your own testimony, in your own story, and the victories that you've had. So a lot of this came from, my own experience stepping into that, having the background in education and English literature, and saying, okay, now I'm going to learn a new skill. Some of you may need to increase your skills, and that's okay too, right? Just being open to it. But it starts with the mindset. It starts with, I put it off for a handful of months because I was like, I don't know much about publishing. I didn't know. And then I had to learn, and then I had to do it. And it's like you get in this place of constantly learning, but you're not doing. So you have to learn, but you also have to do. You have to step out. You have to be willing to make the mistakes. So we made a lot of the mistakes in the beginning. And then, just over time, we started to really step into this thing of launching people into their influential assignments, launching people through telling their stories through books, and then helping you build out something on the back end, whether that's a business. For some, it might be more ministry-based, digital products, courses. And so we connect them. And so that book serves as a lead magnet. And it also opens doors to different speaking opportunities. We do training for speakers. We have people come to New York. Actually, Lisa, I don't know if you want to share that piece too, but we
Yeah.
love to highlight.
It's one of my things I'm most looking forward to in 2025 is Daniella is hosting this amazing live event in New York. And first of all, I just love to travel, as I've already shared, and I haven't seen that part of the world. And the idea of what you're creating, Daniella, is so inspiring to me, to be a kingdom influencer. What does that mean to you, to be a kingdom influencer?
Yeah, so this was actually really funny because I would say my husband and I were like two minds in one. And so God has given him some vision, and I'm more managerial. So I'm like, okay, let's make this happen. Like, let's take this vision and make it happen. And my husband and I used to argue about this coaching thing because he'd always be like, oh, I think there's this thing with leadership. And I'm like, I don't know leadership. But then God was telling me about influential assignments. And then there's this idea of assignment. So, through some prayer and as we've been working with people, we realize that, oh my goodness, that's what influence is leadership. So if you're an influencer, you're leading people, and culturally in our popular culture today, we have all of these social media influencers, right? You can find one for how to organize your bathroom. Like they exist, they're everywhere. And what's interesting about it is, yes, it takes some knowing about the algorithm and social media, and we do teach some of that because no matter what, you're going to have to know how to grow what you have, right? Business, whatever it is. So you're going to have to know that. But each of you, every single person here has a story. You have something that you've overcome, and that positions you in a way of an expertise in that thing. So some of you who have gone through, maybe, you're a single parent, and that's the experience that you've had. There are lessons that you've learned that people are going through that right now that don't have those solutions that you have. So you've been called to influence in that area. You've been called to lead others to get a similar breakthrough that you were able to get. And so kingdom influence is all about bringing the kingdom of God, bringing his principles into the different areas, right? There's arts and entertainment, there's business, there's religion, there's family. Think about, where does your heart beat? What it makes you most excited. If I said to you, like, Stephanie, Barbara, April, what makes you just so excited that if you could do this for the rest of your life, you would do it? Like, what makes your heart beat? And if you actually think back on your story, there's probably something in your story and a reason why your heart draws that way. So a lot of what we do is, how do we get you there? We want to get you to become that kingdom influencer, to bring, these principles to other people so that they can get similar breakthroughs as well.
Well, and what I love about what you've done, Daniela, is, when you're first starting in the world of entrepreneurship, there's a lot of there's a lot of missteps. There's a lot of probably buying something you either never will need or definitely don't need now, things out of sequence. There's, I don't know about you, but I've said yes to people that when I really get into the back end of their content and their really what they're about or what they're delivering on, it is far below what they said it would be. And there's moral ambiguity that I've seen in a lot of, people out there, influencer wise, right? So the idea of the kingdom influence really appeals to me. And yet we both started with being part of other communities. You and I realized we had 100X community as a common, commonality. 100X is a beautiful, if you're not familiar with it, it's a beautiful organization that Daniela and I are both part of. That is, it's really a community, for lack of a better description, don't you think, Daniela? Our mentor Pedro is one of the most successful kingdom entrepreneurs on the planet, a multiple 8-figure earner now, right? And giver. And sometimes you start by finding a community that resonates with you. And I also believe you are meant to create your own community. And Daniela, what she is brilliant at is helping you bridge that gap, that gap. How do I take my story that led me here to now serve others, right? Because we all have a story. Daniela, you have a really great way of training people how to use your story as a lead magnet, as a way to kind of like your virtual business card in a way. Tell us about that, because I've heard that said many times. And yet the reality is, I know that unfortunately, 90% of books out there, even when purchased, don't get read, right? But it's really not about the reading of the book. It's about what you can do with that tool, right? Tell us a little
Absolutely.
bit about how you help, people with that.
Yeah, for sure. So, one of the things that I learned was that when you're building out your business or whatever it is that you're doing, there's things inside of you, and all the pieces feel scattered. So it's like, okay, well, I have this background, or I have this experience, or I've done this thing, or, this thing has happened. But when you see it all come together in the form of a book, you're doing two things. One, you're clarifying your voice, okay, which is huge for anything that we're doing business related. Story marketing is one of the number one ways to sell anything, right? So if you're going to get up there, you need to be able to tell a good story. This is what all the experts are going to teach you. So please, like, write that down. If you're struggling to sell whatever, tell a story. Okay, stories are the way to go. But stories are so powerful. And so how the book works is, as you step out to start to write the book, and there's a process in doing that and looking back at your experiences, it helps you to also develop a framework, right? So what is the solution that you're bringing to the marketplace? And in our program, we kind of take you through step by step how to do that. But a big part of it is, when you have the book serves as a vehicle. So there's one that I have here. This is called God Belongs in Business. So these are like just different principles, and we've highlighted 12 different authors in this. And so this is something we've done where they just start by writing a chapter. Okay, what is it that you love to do? What is it that you stand for? What is it that, and a lot of times when it comes to the books, book sales are important. You can make passive income, right? I go post, and I just showed all of you a couple books, right? You can go in here and buy them. Creating Wealth for the Kingdom, right? The books can sell. But what you're really doing is it's opening up doors for you. So we have a couple ladies in our program who did the book, and all of a sudden it was like doors started opening, radio shows, Roku, TV things, stages, because what this does, what this can do, especially if you want to connect it with a business or something, is it helps people understand who you are. It positions you as an expert, and it helps you to get clear as well on what are the things you're doing, what are the things that you offer. I had somebody who I've worked with as well who recently told me that he made $30,000 from his book that we worked together to position it with his expertise, which is in tax and accounting. And he's like, I don't think I'm ever going to do a book on taxes, but it was for entrepreneurs to know how, like, what are some write-offs you can do and things like that. So we positioned it in a way that now when that book goes out, it draws in the people that he wants to connect with, and it had him, he made end up making $30,000 in the one business quarter. So that's huge. So a lot of times books act as that gateway of, this is how I'm an expert. This is what I can speak on. It opens opportunities, but there should always be something connected on the back end of that book. That could be a webinar, it could be a course, it could be a program, it could be a business call. So there's so much that you can do from the book that can help to open up the doors and the pathways and do the things that you need to do. One of the things that I hear from a lot of people is that, they're like, well, I never thought of writing a book, or I'm not a writer, I'm not sure where to start. And that's okay. Like I said, I know Lisa's going to give you guys ways that you can connect with me. We offer a range of things that you can do. We have ghostwriting. We do all kinds of things. So it depends on what you want to do. But I believe that if you're an influencer, you need to have a book, right? This is also legacy. When I pass away, my kids are going to read Creating Wealth for the Kingdom. So they're not going to make the mistakes that I made, right? They're not going to live in the upside down world and, and no, they're going to know the things that I went through, and they can pass this down to their kids and so on. So books are my jam, and books are something you can really do. Yeah.
Well, let's face it, books, we're changed most. One of my mentors that he's written over 150 books. He has a great saying. He says, you're changed most by the books you read and the people you meet. And how about the books you write, right? I personally, never thought of myself as an author, but I do have a book. In fact, I'll show you my book. We are, you actually have a Conversations with an Angel was my book. And this was really a heart journey about my girlfriend that lost her life to cancer. And it was a story of friendship and fun and faith. I wrote that book because I could, right? Because a story was in my heart. And it's funny, I really haven't done much with it other than give it for gifts for people, quite frankly. But when I met Daniella, I was like, God's been working on me. I have this other book. So, you guys are actually part of this next book, Reimagine the American Dream. The Kingdom is Calling, because this series is being built for the purpose of fuel and information and case studies for that book. So thank you for participating in the book that you didn't even know you were participating in. But friends, I just love your story, Daniella. I think it's just such a beautiful example of truly reimagining the American dream. You and your hubby, you guys are building it together. Your kids are seeing examples of a hardworking mama and daddy that are building their life for them as God is the center. And like, you can't go wrong. You already are wildly successful in so many ways. And I know that I just see before you so many women and men that you get to serve. And I'm so blessed to be part of that. So thank you for joining us, my dear. Friends, Daniella did provide a free gift for us, and I can't remember exactly what it is. Do you want to share a little bit about that? And then also tell us, what's coming up for you next? How can people find you? All that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So actually I was working on something this week and I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's just in time. So I actually created a quiz. And it actually goes with the link that I gave you, Lisa, to put on
Okay,
to send
super.
out. Yeah, so you could it's the Kingdom Assignment Discovery Quiz. So you could take that quiz and see kind of where you feel like you're called to plug into. And then there is
Love
also
it.
an additional thing that you can scan there. So if you wanted to meet one-to-one after that and go a little deeper into your personal story, we can do that. But yeah, so that's one of the things that's there. And there's also a webinar that you can watch. It's the Kingdom Accelerator Challenge. So I gave that to you guys also for free. So you got lots of goodies there. And
I love it.
yes, and one of the things we're working on now, we just launched in December. It's called Position for Victory, and it's 11 stories of different people who've overcome difficult challenges. And we're doing the retreat that's coming up in April, and we're going to have a lot of speakers from that best-selling book, and you'll be able to hear from them. So April 26th, if you're local and if you're in, near New York-ish or in the East Coast. I would love to just stay connected for that and have you be a part of that. So we have limited in-person tickets, but we're also going to do streaming online as well. So that's kind of the next project thing that we have going on in April. And yeah, you can connect with me. I'm on Facebook, Daniella Ordonez. You can find me very easily there. I also have a link tree, or you can shoot me an email, connect@network4 with the number 4, thekingdom.com. I can post it in the chat if that's okay, Lisa, and just shoot me an email and
Yeah.
we'll connect.
Absolutely. And take advantage of Daniella's free offer. She has um, just so blessed us with her brilliance. And when you'll be getting more information from me, friends, if you have an interest in coming to New York with us, be watching my newsletters. We'll be sending that out as we get closer, right, Daniella, as we go travel together and have more fun together. It's going to be so great. So,
Yes.
blessings, my dear. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next week in your community as well. See, this is the fun part about as we meet more people in our kingdom assignment is we just get to do life with amazing people doing incredible things. And we get to be very aware. I know what I'm good at. My gifts, friends, are first of all, I love people. I have a genuine, absolute passion for people and their stories. I love to help people find and discover who they're called to serve, how they're called, whatever their ministry is, their calling in life. And my many years in career development equipped me very well for that, right? Every one of you has unique gifts that you're blessed with, that you are meant to use. um, I'm curious, for a lot of us people that are here on this workshop, you've been here with us for a couple of hours. We've got another half hour to 40 minutes to go. um, as you're thinking about the year ahead, when you think about 12 months from now, how do you want your life to look? What do you want to have done? We just did a Dreaming with God exercise. Did anyone attend that workshop on Saturday with Pedro? And it was very interesting this past year. I have my whole career, I've been a goal setter. I was blessed with a boss. My very first job in staffing, I was blessed with a boss that believed in vision boards. And she would have us do an annual exercise where we would sit down, we'd have like a poster board. She'd get a bunch of magazines and we'd like tear out all these pictures. And I have so many vision boards throughout the years. And my kids are used to going through this exercise. They always roll their eyes at mama, like, what's mama got us doing this year? This year, we always do our goal setting and vision boards in during Thanksgiving. And this year, I invited my kids to think about something different. And I invited them to think about not necessarily what you want to do this year, but who do you want to become? who do you want to be known for? Who do you want when, let's say, it sounds morbid, but let's say tomorrow you're no longer with us. Who do you want? What do you want people to describe you as? Right? What qualities do you want? And I'll tell you what, the type of description that I want people to talk about me, I want people to say, Lisa made me laugh. Lisa saw me. Lisa believed in me. Lisa shared the good news of Jesus with me. Lisa made a difference in my life. That's what lights me up. My question, friends, is what lights you up? What is it that drives you? I think there's a lot of people that signed up for this workshop. As I said, there was over 90 people that signed up. I'm really proud of you that you showed up, my friends. I'm really proud of you that you have, those of you that have your cameras on. One tip that I can tell you that will set you apart in your entrepreneurial journey that you have 100% control over, my friends, is the type of audience you are. When you sign up for a workshop, first of all, do you make it? Or are you #replay? Because there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm telling you, there's something pretty magical that happens when you're live, right? And what kind of audience member are you? Are you in the conference room with the paper bag on your head? Sorry, friends, I'm just going to tell it like it is. There's a lot of you with paper bags on your heads right now. And that's okay. But I'm telling you, I have a superpower. And it's because I show up. And it's so simple when you think about it. You have 100% control over how you show up. Whether we see each other month after month, whether you become a part of my life, my community, or I never see you again, my friends, please take that little nugget that I learned so long ago from my manager, because that's what she taught me. She's like, Lisa, she was that woman that she gave me words. Words matter. We were never, the word overwhelmed, by the way, was never in our vocabulary. We could be whelmed, but we were never overwhelmed. She told me, Lisa, you're never tired. Never use the words I'm tired. Use the words I got all the sleep the good Lord blessed me with. Never talk about being ill. Those words matter. Don't say, should I wish I could have. I could have, I would have, I should have. Don't should all over your dreams, my friends. I heard somebody say once, I have a lot of really powerful people in my life. And the reason I have them in my life, and not only do I call them mentors, but I call them friends. The only reason that I have them on my life is because I invited them into my life. I was interested in what they were doing, and I said, I want to be part of what they're doing, right? And anyone can do that. There's nothing special about me. Actually, there's a lot of special things about me. There is special things about you. But my point is, I don't have any magic skills that other people don't have also. But I do show up when I say I'm going to. And I do it with a smile. It costs very little to smile at someone. It costs you nothing, actually. In fact, I want to challenge you. I'm going to send you a pocket Jesus if you put your address in the chat. But I even want to challenge you more. One of my neighbors over Christmas, she and I, again, do you ever meet people and you're just like, I get to be friends with that person. I want that person in my life. And this is one of those people. And yet our lives are busy. She's a business owner. I'm a business owner. We have tons of kids, lots of activities. we never really get to spend time together, but when we do, it's always super meaningful. And I knew she had been going through a really difficult time in her life. Her husband had left, he had had an affair. Her business was, she runs a catering business. Like COVID just completely wiped her out. She was only just recovering from that. And then this happened with her husband. And we had been, we hadn't seen each other in a while, but we saw each other over the holidays, and I went over to visit her and I brought her one of my books, and I brought her Pocket Jesus. And do you know that since I brought her Pocket Jesus, she has shared Pocket Jesus, with all of her 30 family members. It's what she gave them for Christmas. She shared it with all her employees. This little tiny guy, she has employees that don't speak English. Can I tell you, when I went to Mexico this weekend and I saw this beautiful single dad with these 2 kids that had been living on the floor with cardboard walls, and I couldn't speak his language, but we had a translator there, and I just said, I want you to know that you have a friend. And I gave him and his children a Pocket Jesus, and they treasured it. And I said, can I ask you, don't keep him a secret. When you are, when your neighbors come over and they see this miracle that's happened, there was no house there 24 hours ago. Now there's a house. When they come and knock on your door, will you tell them who built this house? God built this house. Tell them the good news that God built this house, right? And I want to just invite you to be that light in your neighborhood, to be that light in your workplace. If you're still working, friends, that is your bankroll for your dream role. Do you know, I toiled and tormented in my job for 5 years before I was able to leave. And boy, did I want to quit a couple of times. And in fact, they actually did kick me out about a year sooner than I was expecting. I started in another company for a couple of months, but I realized God really was ready for me to go on my own, right? But I'm telling you, friends, it doesn't matter where you are today. It's about what you do moving forward. Because if 12 months from now, you're in the same position that you were now, there's no one's fault except yours. So take 100% responsibility 100% of the time for yourself. I want to invite you to dream with me. One of my dreams, friends, is that I thought I was a traveler. I thought I had a passion for travel, but I met someone yesterday, one of my clients. She is 36 years old. She's a hospital chaplain. She doesn't make a lot of money when on paper, right? But she lives in a town where her house costs $145,000. My house does not cost $145,000 in California. I have massive mortgage envy, by the way. But she told me, I said, what are some of your dreams? She said, I'm 36 years old. I want every year that I live, I want that to be the number of countries I've been to, that I've traveled to. She blew my mind. I thought I had big travel dreams. She's just expanded my travel dreams, like 100x, right? What are your dreams? I love to travel. I can't wait to see more of the world. She had a dream to see all 67, I think it was 67 national parks. She's already seen 30 something. She's only 36, right? She makes not very much money. My friends, my point is, it doesn't matter how much you make. It's actually what you do with it. But making money does help. Money is a nice thing to have. It's right up there with oxygen, right? So doesn't it make sense that we generate more so we can be generous, so we can travel more? Some of my dreams, my daughter talks about seeing the lanterns. This is, for those of you that have little ones, there's a story called Tangled, where there's this dream where, the princess sees on her birthday every year, it's the lanterns are released. She doesn't realize she's actually the lost princess. That's what they're actually celebrating, is her. But my daughter, I asked my daughter, what do you want to see, baby? I want to see the lanterns, Mama. I personally have a desire to stay in a beachfront, penthouse that's just for my big family, because I'm going to bring all my kids. I'm going to bring all their wives, husbands and wives as they grow, all their children. I want to be the Grammy that gets to go on trips with her grandkids. That's who I get to be. My husband, he wants to see different parts of the country, of Europe. There's so many places that we haven't been together as a couple. I want to see the Christmas bazaars. I want to see, has anyone ever heard of the Viking River cruises? Has anyone ever heard of that? I can't wait to go on the Viking River cruise. Now, Paul's not a big fan of boats, so who wants to go with me? I'm just saying, I invite people. I love to travel with friends. Friends are so fun to travel with. Friends, what are your dreams? What are your desires? Where do you want to go? This is what lights me up, is when people have a reason for why they're doing something. Now, you can give up on travel, but I want you to now think about, how old are you going to be in 3 years? I'm going to be 56 in 3 years. So do the math for yourself. It's not rocket science. Okay. Now imagine, how old is your daughter going to be? Your son? How old is how old are your parents going to be? Are your parents still going to be with you? I thought I had a lot more years with my mom than I did. And I want you to imagine what is possible in the next 12 months. What's possible in the next 24 months, in the next 36 months, if you take some action today. These little needle moving steps to take action for yourself. Amazon, Amazon came along. They completely transformed the way we shop. Right? You remember Uber and Lyft, they came along. Remember Uber, it's like, why would I get in the car with a stranger? What was a taxi, by the way, anyway? And now they've completely revolutionized the way people get around. What did they do? They democratized the driver's license. That's all they did. And friends, what affiliate marketing can do for you is it is the highest form of leverage. You take what you love, what you find value in, and you share it with others. And in today's world of digital media, there is no stopping, there's no excuses not to build wealth, my friends. There's absolutely no excuse. If you have a phone and you have a drive and ambition to learn, there's absolutely no reason you can't, right? One of my affiliate partnerships that I had this year, I made $78,000 just from one affiliate deal, right? It's just a matter of starting to say yes to things that light you up, finding the things that align with what you're looking for. And we have a lot of opportunities to continue to grow with us, friends. Today's really been about, I didn't know how today would go. God planted this dream of reimagining the American dream, in my heart about 6 months ago, actually. I had done our Wealth Creator Challenges for 16 months in a row, where we really poured into women, helped them get really smart with their finances. We did a lot of good work there. But I tell you what, there's something special about equipping women to make more. You can either spend less or make more. And it's so much more fun to learn how to make more, right? It's so much more fun. So, as we're kind of wrapping up today, I want to share with you some ideas that you can take moving into the next year. My friends, does it make sense to leverage the skills and systems of other people First of all, just ask yourself, does it make sense to leverage what others have created to build your own income streams? I believe that we are all creators of our own family economy, whatever that economy looks like. Some economies, they're bankrupt right now. Some economies, they're just getting by. Some economies are overflowing. But does it make sense to learn a new skill, to leverage what others have built? The industries that we have chosen to be affiliates with are very purposeful. I've shared with you why we've chosen these industries. The financial services, first of all, the highest paid industry in the world. Generally speaking, that's the number one thing I see in the world that I worked with in recruiting highly paid W-2 employees. One thing that they are looking for is, how can I pay less taxes? God love them. Just please, how can I pay less taxes? Well, my friends, if you do not have a business right now, that is the number one way you can pay less taxes. There is so much that you are able to write off. In fact, in months coming up, we're actually going to integrate into our offer someone that is actually going to be able to talk to you about the tremendous benefits you can glean from having a business. My husband and I went from multiple six-figure earners in corporate paying the highest taxes on the planet to multiple six figures paying the lowest taxes on the planet. Do you know the average billionaire pays 6% in taxes, right? Just because they're a billionaire, they're not doing anything different. They're just learning how to use our tax codes that we are all blessed with, by the way. It's up to us whether we put them to work for ourselves. Personal growth, we've already talked about the industry itself, why I'm so excited about being an affiliate in that space. If you're a coach, if you're an author, if you're a speaker, and you're thinking about a membership that you can add to your coaching business, the Kingdom Alliance membership is bar none the best thing I've seen on the planet in terms of personal growth, professional growth, how you can offer this to your students, your coaching students. Because personal growth, there is no better time spent, in my opinion, than time with the Lord, by the way, than that you can do to exponentially grow your business. We have real estate investing that we share with people. There's a lot of people that have a desire to get into real estate. In my state in California, it is very difficult to get your foot in the door anymore. It's so expensive, right? We have partnerships with people that you can be a partial owner for as little as $25,000, and they are IRA and 401k friendly. So you can actually use retirement funds to invest and leverage in real estate adventures. We're huge into community involvement. We believe in coaching. We believe in the power of coaching. And, debt is kind of one of those outliers. But again, you see the financial bookends around all of the things that we focus on, because sometimes you have to meet someone where they're at before you can help them build wealth. And debt is a big challenge in our country. I have an affiliate program that I work with consumer debt. I work with student loan debt. So if you know people that could benefit from that, again, you know people that I don't know. That's how affiliate marketing works. It's the most brilliant concept on the planet. If you were in a room of 100 people and asked them, what is the one thing that keeps you up at night? We're on a game of Family Feud right now. What do you think the top 3 would be? Any guesses? Donis, I know you know the answer. Money. Yes, absolutely. What do you think? Anyone want to put in the chat what they think the... yes, my mom was Grammy with the mostest. You're right, Donis. Debt, absolutely. The top 3, if you were on a game of Family Feud, the top things that people look for in terms of solutions online is money, debt solutions. They ask about worrying about how do I cover my bills, fear about the financial future, security in the future, fear about their children. Financial security is a major, major component that people look at. There's three main ones. It's finances, it's relationships, and it's health, right? So friends, if you're solving a problem in any one of those areas, and by the way, there's really not any industry that isn't solving some problem in one of those areas when you really think about it, right? If you're solving a problem in any of those areas, there's a high demand. In just the financial market alone, there's $68 trillion that's set to move from one bucket to another. This is just because of the baby boomer population. And for those friends of you that are on this line that are licensed, like I am, did you know that there are less than 300,000 licensed professionals in the entire US to prepare for this largest wealth transfer in the history of mankind? Some of you, I had an email. What does that mean, license, Lisa? I have a life and health license, as many of you do on this call. And it's just one way that I serve people, as do many of you. How much have you heard about the concept, be your own banker? Has anyone ever heard of that concept before? This is a concept that has been around for generations, by the way. It's been used by the wealthy for decades, and anyone can do this. Anyone. It's just a skill. It's a trait. It's a learned skill that you can create for your own family. These are the kinds of things that we do in our community. And by the way, if TikTok can do it, if TikTok can get people to to be their own bank, I think you can probably do it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of TikTokers out there that are doing it the wrong way. They're teaching about something called an indexed universal life, which, by the way, I did sell them as well before I had a redemptive reset myself. But there's right ways to implement a bank in your life, and there's wrong ways to implement a bank in your life. So again, make sure that you're getting advice from people that are good stewards of this industry that I am blessed to be part of in the insurance space. We already talked about how great is the need for raising our financial IQ. This is Sharon Lechter. She's the co-author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. She is a mentor of mine, therefore a mentor of yours. She's going to be speaking in a couple of months on our platform. And I want you to just ask yourself, are we ready, ladies, for this inheritance that's coming to us? Are our children equipped? How much have the schools prepared our kids for dealing with money? How about nothing at all, right? It's up to us, right? So I want to encourage you, if you don't feel prepared, make this the year. The client that I mentioned yesterday who has this passion for travel, she just said, Lisa, I don't know how I've done it because I've never really made a lot. Money's really not that important to me, but travel is. But I realize God wants me to be more careful with my money. And we talked about the fact that when you pay attention to the small things that God blesses us with, which is dollars and cents are small things in the kingdom, He's much more likely to trust you with the bigger things, which is his people. So friends, if you are in business for yourself and you haven't figured out your finances, and your coaching clients or your clients in some way are not coming to you, ask yourself, how well are you stewarding the small things that you've been given, right? And I'll be the first to admit it. I've been a huge, massive shopper, spender, aholic in my lifetime. It's still something that I'm overcoming. I've had times in my life where I've been burdened with debt. And, so I understand where you're coming from if that's the place that you're in right now, right? We talked about the personal development market, the coaching industry. Let's talk about, friends, what's next, Lisa? What happens after this? Well, first of all, um, make sure you give us your address so we can send you a pocket Jesus. Okay. I want to invite you to continue your journey with us. We're going to be doing this workshop series every single month this year, as long as God's calling us to do it. And first of all, I want to invite you, if you have a genius in your life that you think would add value to our community, we would love to share your story. I would love to meet you. I would love to get to know how you serve your community. We have a massive group of alumni that you would be joining. There's a lot of people that have spoken on this stage through the last several years, and we love telling people's stories. If we can, share your story to support others in their growth, then we want to do that. If you found value today and you want to continue with us, make sure that, first of all, you did register for the event and you are on our mailing list, and make sure you stay on it so you'll get reminded about what's coming up next. I was an employee that had no experience in entrepreneurship, never dreamed of having a business. But when I saw what we could create as a kingdom wealth creator, I became a student. I have so many amazing mentors in my life. Ed Milet, anybody know Ed Milet? My boyfriend Ed Milet. He's like one of my favorite people on the planet. And I've been at Ed's house. I've been in his jet. I've been in so many rooms that I never would have dreamed of. But God wanted me in those rooms. I just didn't know it. I was constrained by, this corporate construct that I thought I was supposed to be part of. And all I did was I kept saying yes. I kept saying, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. Yes, I'd like to attend that workshop. I would like to know more about that. Now, friends, we've shared with you a little bit about, what's happening in the Kingdom Alliance workshop and the membership itself. Let's go a little bit deeper into that. So Kingdom Alliance, think of it as simply a platform. Okay, a membership platform. I am choosing to leverage this membership in my own business, and I invite you to do the same. They have a mighty mission. Change yourself, change the world, change your tax bracket. I love that. I can get around that. Their vision is to create more Christian millionaires than any other company in the world. Again, something I absolutely can get around. More transformed lives, more savings, more income, more stewardship, more, Lord, just more, right? They have 3 pillars, and there's actually a 4th that's being added come February 1st, which I'm so excited about. I can't tell you yet, but it's coming February 1st. But the first one is grow. This is the personal and professional development space that we talked about, this growing, booming industry. What I love about what they have also is when I first, tiptoed into my world of entrepreneurship, I was kind of all over the shop. I didn't have a schedule. I didn't know, I was used to going from corporate where, Lisa, you're here at 8:30, you have X meeting at 10, you do these calls from this time. I had a schedule. I knew what I was going into. So I love that there's a system that you can plug into. There's live weekly and monthly mentoring calls. There's leadership development. They have, if you are considering ICF credited certifications, they offer these at a much deeper discount than out in the common open marketplace. Okay. They have live virtual academies, on-demand courses, over 400 classes, over 400 online courses. And the membership comes with all of these things. The grow pillar is what I got most excited about because of, as I showed you, how much I've spent personally in that space. So you automatically get that. You have done for you marketing. This is, again, something that I was really looking for. I had done so much in terms of like buying courses, how to grow a email list, how to grow a YouTube channel, how to start a podcast. Blah. Anybody else done how to, right? And I love that it was done for me. These funnels that are being built for us. Done for you sales funnels, these live weekly calls, these masterminds, weekly prayer calls. Again, some of you that are in my 100X community, similar things to what we're doing at a fraction of the cost, actually, quite frankly. Very modern marketing resources. They just introduced last night in our leadership call, a technology that they're implementing that's enabling us to literally have a virtual Lisa, that they're leveraging AI, that I can pay a very small monthly membership to my membership and literally have virtual Lisa trained to speak like me and talk with people online. Like, if there's anything that I'm more impressed with than automation, I mean, you have to understand, friends, I am the least technical person up until this point, that has learned so much in my entrepreneurial journey, and just really supportive community, which I absolutely love. They also have the save pillar. I've found it's unbelievable what I've saved. I've had tax savings. I've already saved on travel. I'm going to Las Vegas with some girlfriends. I saved a third of the cost on the hotel. I've been saving on restaurants, entertainment. There's people that pay for their monthly membership just on their savings alone. I personally love to eat organically. They have a organic savings group that you can be part of as well. We just personally decided to become part of the share plan in health insurance. And they have a great subscription medication base that you can use as well. So it's incredible savings. I bought movie tickets here. I've bought travel, everything under the sun. What I'm also excited about is what's coming, because there's going to be even more travel benefits coming. I really can't talk about that too much because it's still not quite released, but if you like to travel, there's going to be even more coming. If you have a desire to be a speaker, there's a speaker academy. If you have people that you're coaching that have a desire to be a speaker, how about you don't have to be the expert in everything, because you have a membership that actually teaches you that you can point the finger to them and help them. There's a Radiant Leadership Academy. As I said, there's a portal for travel, and you can earn money either through referrals. You don't have to necessarily build a business of outreach. You can absolutely work with these two hands and be simply an affiliate. You can get one-time bonuses. If you wanted to get into the residual recurring income, that is when I believe you should embrace the network marketing component to it. That model is so kingdom. When you think about working with many hands versus the pyramid scheme that corporate America is, where there's a lot of little people on the top, on the bottom, and one typically maybe a handful of people on top, right? So if you want to build a team, learn how to do it authentically, genuinely, then there's tremendous training for that. I personally haven't ever been in a network marketing company, but it's not because I don't love the concept. Up until now, I hadn't found any products that I absolutely loved. And I'm used to high profit margins. And there's a lot, you would have to sell a lot of vitamins and shakes to make very much money. That's personally been a decision that I've made. There is a lot to be made when it comes to digital products and education, right? The margins are high. So, there's a couple options that you have available, friends. Now, the membership itself is a one-time down payment of $399.99. And then you have an ongoing monthly membership of $149.99. Okay, that's you get all of the things that I just shared with you, the done for you content, the digital products, the faith-led leadership, ongoing training on how to leverage this membership to build your own business, continue to create content, incredible support and community. They call themselves ambassadors. We call them ourselves ambassadors, which I love that designation as well, ambassador of the good news of entrepreneurship. So that is the very basic membership, which I encourage you, if any of this is resonating with you, take the time to explore it. Donis will put the link in the chat so you can look at the membership more closely. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, Lisa, really, I really want some personal support. So we've also created something called our Business Launch Accelerator. Now, this is a brand new program that God's been working with me on for the last 6 months. This is for those of you that want some done with you. The Kingdom Alliance membership, it's all built in for you, but it does require you to show up, you to do it yourself, really, engage. If you want some more done with you, the Business Launch Accelerator is going to help you accelerate that growth. So what does that look like? First of all, it's a 90-day program. The first thing we do is a personalized career strategy session. You get 3 of them with myself. This is the part that I have the most fun with, because every one of you has a wealth building plan that is aligned with your talents, with your background. Stephanie is not created like Liz was. You have different backgrounds. You have different skills that you're bringing. This is my brilliance that I get to share. There's no class that we ever took, what am I supposed to be when I grow up? But guess what? There's tools that people have been equipped with, and I'm one of them, that I get downloads all the time about what people are supposed to do. What can they do with these things that they've already crafted? So what does that look like? It looks like 3 sessions with me, 1 a month. You have homework in between. We're going to actually help you go through a motivational design assessment. This is actually a fabulous personality process that actually shows you what God imagined when he created you. And it helps you improve relationships, learning why. I'm a psych major. Traditional personality tests always fall short. I've searched far and wide for this, and I absolutely love going through this process. I actually had my kids do this over Thanksgiving. It was so fun to learn about what their God-centered motivational design is. We're also going to help you in these sessions get through your approval addiction, because, my friends, you are addicted to approval, just like I am. We all are, right? We're going to help you overcome the need for that external validation, step into your God-gifted confidence. We're going to do some work on your fear around building wealth, because guess what, friends? If you haven't built wealth up until now, there is something blocking you. There's money's everywhere. There's no reason that you shouldn't have built it by now. There's something blocking you, so we get to work on that. You also get to have a personalized session with me on LinkedIn and how I use this to build my business. I've made millions and millions of dollars on LinkedIn in my previous career as a recruiter. And now I'm teaching people to do it online. This is a new offer. I've taught classes in this before, but I'm really excited about how we're going to help people explode their business, because I've never done it really on purpose. I've done it more as a give back, a philanthropy, like, oh yes, I do this all the time. Sure, I'll help you, right? So we're actually going to dive deep into how we can help you. Instead of going to the red ocean of Facebook, where it's just overwhelming, you're going to go to the blue ocean of LinkedIn, where people are looking for you. It's a business media tool. It's fabulous. We also are going to include 3 sessions with our licensed Kingdom Wealth specialists. We have incredibly talented women that are here to support you in your financial journey. Define what that financial freedom number is for you, make your money work better for you. If you are in debt, help you get out of debt, eliminate that. You're also going to get access to our personalized system that actually puts the walls of protection in place at a fraction of the cost that a typical will and trust would be for the consumer. I paid about $5,000 for my trust. This was 16 years ago. So you're going to have access to a fabulous company that we work with at the fraction of the cost that I paid for my trust. Now, my friend Lisa, where are you, Lisa? Can you unmute yourself for a second, my dear?
Hey.
Lisa Haley, can I just say, this woman, she and Lisa, I'm going to bring you to the stage for a second because I just have to talk to you, my friend. I met Lisa. Lisa's met each other about 6 months ago. We're in the 100X community. And I just remember the first time I accidentally got in a Zoom room with her because we're all like paired up in this kingdom coaching that we do. And I just remember like, I want to be friends with her. Like we just had so many things that were in alignment. She is also a recovering corporate executive like me. Lisa, you and I have had so many conversations about this, but Lisa is going to do something with you that I think is so special. And I want to share with you, when I first met her, I said, you and I are supposed to do something together. We're supposed to create something together. And at first, what did you say?
I was like, I need to think about that.
Lisa's a systems girl, right? She's used to her. She was in the government space, a very high ranking government director, right? Lots of structure there where you come from, right? The systems. And she is also so joy-filled. She's filled with the Holy Spirit. And I said to her, darling, there are people that they need what you have to offer. So I challenged her. I said, tell me what we could do together. Let's like come up with some ideas. And she came through in spades. She is going to tell us about the joy break session. Lisa, just tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Haley, and I think we all need a little more joy in our lives. I think sometimes we are way too serious, and that kind of can stifle the creativity. And hey, I'm a recovering, very logic, precise, ordered gal. So I can speak from experience that when you release and let go and let that joy flow, things are just gonna take over. And so if you know anything about Lisa Williams, she's the queen of fun. And part of what we are doing here is bringing more fun because life was meant to be more joyful. So I will just thank you, Lisa, for letting me share.
Absolutely. So you're going to have so much fun with Lisa, learning about how to break free with your joy. You're also going to get a fabulous call with a dear friend. She's actually not here right now because she's just getting back from
Yes, I am.
her trip to Argentina. Oh, Lorena, are you there? Oh no, is that
no.
Mel?
Yeah.
Okay, you're next, Mel. We have my friend Lorena. She is just absolutely brilliant about clearing the fog of emotions. Because friends, let's face it, when we are doing something new, when we are doing something maybe kind of outside of our comfort zone that's a little scary, we're going to have some emotional challenges that we face, right? So she's going to help you break free from that. And then my dear friend Mel is going to also help you with chaos to clarity. And Mel, are you here, my dear?
I am.
Tell us about this chaos to clarity session with you.
Yeah, well, first of all, just super excited to be here with you all. Hello, everyone. And what do you think of like the whole Kingdom Alliance community? I'm like, what Lisa is sharing about, like being an ambassador for Kingdom Alliance is just, it's so next level. It's such an amazing community. I actually joined just to be in the community. Didn't think I was going to do the ambassador thing and even do a business. And it just wound up that people started enrolling with me. And so I didn't even get in for the business. There's just so many other great things because I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching, and everything in every course that I've ever taken is inside of Kingdom Alliance for like less than $2,000 a year. So it's a total no-brainer to jump into that offer. And there's so much more coming in February that we can't talk about. That's just going to take your membership to the next level. But I'm excited to be here with you all. Thanks so much for having me, Lisa. And yes, I am excited to just offer you all, those of you that jump in, from chaos to clarity call, because I'm known as the clutter expert, right? And really what this is, it's a personalized one-on-one session, really designed to help you identify the root causes of clutter in every area of your life: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual. And what we're going to do is together, we're really going to uncover what's keeping you stuck and how to explore, you know, all the things that might be keeping and creating distance between you and having a deeper relationship with Jesus. Because it's really about removing anything that keeps you from having a relationship with Jesus. Now, using my proven from the inside out approach, we're going to address the patterns and the obstacles that are holding you back so you can really step into clarity and peace and purpose in your life. This is more than just clearing your physical space. It's about transforming your life and reconnecting with what truly matters. So if you're ready to release what no longer serves you and invite God's presence into every corner of your life, this is your next step. I'm super excited to offer this to each one of you that say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you haven't had the chance to meet Malin and be served by her, it's unbelievable. How's Pocket Jesus by the way, Mel? Pocket
Yes, I
Jesus
love
doing
Pocket
good?
Jesus. Yes. Got my Pocket Jesus.
Mel came for Thanksgiving, and it was one of the first things I did is she gave her a Pocket Jesus.
So good.
So friends, you know, if you feel like you could use some additional support, you know, in your journey, we want to offer this package to you, this business accelerator package. It's, you know, we could charge thousands of dollars. In fact, if you go to my website right now, normally that is worth almost $2,500, but we're doing it for, we're actually taking $2,000 off for the launch of this workshop. And so you can do it for one easy payment of $44.47. Now, some of you may not, the Kingdom Alliance membership may not resonate with you. So you may just want these business accelerator, you know, parts of the package. So if that's true, you know, Donna's put the link in the chat. Whatever you decide, friends, whether you are saying yes to continuing your journey with us today, or timing isn't good, we're so very grateful that you were here and you spent time with us today. Next month, I want you to mark your calendars for February 11th. Mel's actually going to be our guest next month. We also have my dear friend, Dr. Greg Reed. He's the gentleman that's written over 150 books. He's one of the most well-known people on the planet when it comes to self-development. And again, if you have genius you'd like to share with us, we love to learn your story. We'd love to talk about having you as a guest for us and getting your story out to more families. There's people that are looking for you, my friends. So I encourage you, you know, take advantage of the Kingdom Alliance membership, take advantage of the Business Accelerator launch if that resonates with you. And at the very least, friends, it was my absolute blessing to meet you. Continue to journey, growing and growing in your life. And for those people that have stayed to the very end, we now get to pick 4 lucky winners. You're all going to get a $25 gift card for having perseverance to stay through the end. Dennis, are you ready to share, my dear?
Yes, I am. I had to get my my share tab so I
Okay,
could see
let's
it.
go ahead and now you have to be present to win. So people might have dropped off and they missed out on their gift card, but let's see who the winners are. We're gonna pick 4 winners, okay? And please, if you are one of our winners, be sure you put your email in the chat so we can make sure you get it. Liz, she's always lucky when she comes on with us. You got one the last time too, didn't you, Liz? Congratulations, Liz. Okay, who's next? Who's next? The lucky winner. Is it Naya? Is Naya still here? Naya, are you here still? Let's see if she's still here. Oh, there she is. Yes, Naya, make sure you put your email in the chat, my dear, so we can get you your gift card. Okay, let's see who's next. Number 1 is... And Solomon. Is Solomon still here?
It says Yasmin.
Or Yasmin. Okay, Yasmin. Is Yasmin still here? Do I see her there? Let's see. Yep, she's still here. Okay, awesome. Everyone. Okay, we got your email, Naya. Thank you, my dear. Yasmin, please be sure you put your email in the chat in case we don't have it. And how about Octavia? Octavia, our last winner. Wonderful. Well, congratulations to our winners. I love giving prizes out. Hey, everyone. It's been my absolute blessing to serve you today. I hope you found value. Do not forget, you are God's very best idea. It's my absolute blessing to be doing life with you. If we're friends already, I can't wait to see you again. If we're not friends yet, I invite you to continue this friendship. It's we can never have enough friends in the world. So blessings, everybody. This amazing life journey. We will see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Lisa, I'm really interested in the accelerator program.
Oh, Barb, we would love to have you. Absolutely, honey. Did you see the link that Miss Donna's put in the chat?
I think it's Lisa Williams CO, that one.
You got it.
Okay.
.com/offer. If you click on it, there's going to be a couple options for you. There's even payment options. If you can't do the whole thing, just costs a little bit more on the payment options. But we would love to have you, Barb.
Well, isn't
Barb's
it
my
44?
buddy.
44 is
What's that?
Isn't it 44?
447. 447 if you just do the business accelerator. But if you do Kingdom Alliance, if you go to that link, Barb, it'll literally walk you through all the options. In fact, let me show you. Why don't I just here? I'm actually going to stop recording. Bye, everybody.